How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Mirrorcell with us tonight, and he can say his name and what he does in the band.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Nate. I sing in Mirrorcell, and that's about it.
That's fine. Hey, listen, we'll take it. But big shout outs to Nate for reaching out to me on email. I love that. I love when bands are just reaching out to me via email and like doing the thing. Even if you DM me on Instagram, like I'm about it. I love it. But I went and checked out Mirrorcell stuff, and honestly, if you are living under a rock, it's time to unearth yourself from said rock and listen to Bleach and Zombie, because I'm excited for these reaction videos to come out. I recorded them last night, and I can say I was like blown back. So I'm excited for people to see it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna keep it a little cryptic, but I'm very
I'm
excited for
excited too.
people to go check them out. But honestly, it was so sick, and I'm excited to kind of delve into like the group as a whole. So I found out we have a mutual friend. Shout outs to Ben. Big salutes, my guy. Love that dude. We'll have to play a game of Smash soon or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
All of
uh,
us, because I'm terrible at Smash.
if you want to join in, Nate, that's you could join in.
Different story, maybe in Mortal Kombat, but
Oh,
Smash is not my
okay,
game.
okay. Fair enough, fair enough. But I wanted to know, Nate, because there's not too much information in regards to your band. Like I did check and scowl through your social media and stuff. You're keeping it a little cryptic with the group, so I appreciate that first and foremost. But I wanted to kind of unearth and see, like, how did you start out? How did like Mirror Cell start out? Is this your first forte into like getting into music? I want to say it's not just by sheer like just sheer thought process, but I'm just curious how Mirror Cell came to be. Spare no expense. I have nothing else to do with my life. I do this for fun, so take all the
Awesome.
time you like.
Yeah, so I would say that Mirrorcell has been the first endeavor that I've put my full 100% into.
Oh, okay.
I've been a part of music projects, and I've done music for a while. Just like small bands and local bands and whatnot. But Mirrorcell started really, I would say, a little bit before the pandemic happened.
Mhm.
And then I wasn't really sure what I was doing at the time. People will soon probably find out that I actually have two projects. That's not just Miracell; it's also a whole other genre of music that will be um, unveiled soon. But I was kind of trying to balance these two projects into one,
Okay.
and it got to the point where the Miracell stuff sounded so much different than the other stuff that I was working on. I was like, "There's no way." I mean, maybe I can make it work with
Yeah.
all the genre bending. I was like, but I just feel like Miracell has to be its own thing. So it became its own entity. I would say like probably during the pandemic is whenever I started to like really focus on that.
Mhm.
And then yeah, it came to fruition a couple months ago whenever we dropped Bleach, and we have a whole lot of songs planned, and like you said, we've stayed pretty cryptic about everything just because I think my favorite artists are mysterious, so I feel like I'm
Yeah.
trying to also emulate that as well.
I appreciate that because I think in the advent of like social media and stuff, and I don't want to sound like a boomer, right? But I think like it's so cool when you can have a group that you don't know stuff about. Like I think there's something really
Totally.
special about like delving into a group, seeing their Instagram, and they have like these like really sick photos, and like they have this look about them that like you're like, "Oh, this is awesome," and I'm glad that I don't really know anything in that I'm gonna kinda go into it, like, very blind and just really just be invested in it. I find that, like, bands oftentimes just, like, and that's no shade to them, I love when bands post a lot
Yeah,
of stuff about their stuff, but, like, it's also nice when you just get a band that you're like, they're very cryptic, they're just gonna keep to themselves or release music, and it's just,
intrigues
like,
you,
special. Intrigues you,
makes you
yeah.
find out like what they're about, what they're doing next, and keeps people on their toes. I think that's my main mission with Mirror Cells. I want people to kind of not really get what's coming next, so to speak, just because of like how drastically different Bleach was from Zombie. I want people to be
Yeah.
like, "Are they heavy, or are they going to be more shoegazy?" Like I don't know.
Yeah, I think you blur the and I talked about this in a previous interview I just did today. But I appreciate that bands are going through this process right now of just blurring the lines. Like I think there's something really fascinating about it to me where like bands aren't like I am just specifically going to be a metalcore band. Like I appreciate the fact that they are sprinkling in different like things. Like I felt like with Zombie, there was like a little bit of like industrial elements, like a Nine Inch Nails type feel. And then like with Bleach, it was like way heavier and like definitely different in a completely different way, you know? And I think like to me it's a really special thing that like you can go from song to song, but like at the same point you're like this is Mirrorcell. Like you can't say like oh this is a different band like they're doing something different. I think there's still like an inherent like center point, and then it's just like everything is kind of built off that center point where it's like okay they're like as you mentioned Nate like doing more shoegazy stuff or doing more heavier stuff. I appreciate the fact that you're taking risks in that way
Yeah.
where I would hope the payoff is doing well. It seems like they're doing well on YouTube, so I can
Thank
only speak for that. But it's cool. And was that kind of the thought process for Mirrorcell where you're just like maybe in projects before this or like or groups before this you were just like afraid almost afraid to be like I'm gonna branch out or I'm gonna do something different, or was this you're just like I don't care. I'm gonna write what I want to write, and I'm gonna do my thing, and just like rock with it and see how it goes out. Or was it very calculated in how you guys went about it?
um so yeah, you mentioned something good, which was like what was it like in past projects, and I felt like I was definitely holding myself back as far
Mm,
as different avenues that I wanted to explore that people will soon kind of find out with Mirror Cell that I am trying. Um, and and yeah, for the most part, I would say when it comes to like our aesthetic and the look and everything else that we're going for, it is very calculated. But at the same time, when it comes to writing music and stuff, it's been very loose and kind of just seeing like what works. I feel like we're at the beginning stages, obviously, of our band and
mm.
figuring out like I guess the like identity, so to speak. So yeah, it's calculated, but at the same time, we're drawing so many influences from different forms of media that it's going to be like all over the place as far
Yeah.
as what the songs will sound like and what will look like and whatnot.
I think it also keeps you on your toes. Like as
Yeah,
someone who listens to a lot of music, clearly, it's fun to see like where I feel like the next steps are going to be for the group, and if I'm like close or if I'm completely wrong. I actually like being wrong in this instance because
right.
like it actually surprises me that much more because then I'm able to see like wow okay there's so much range going on in like the two tracks that are out. What's it going to be like once you add a third one to the mix? Like, are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? And I think that
Yeah,
to me shows like how diverse of a group that Mirror Cell will become. And I think it just makes me very excited to again have the reaction videos out, have the music out, and like have you on to talk about it because I think that's what initially intrigued me to have you on was like the dichotomy of both of those songs that are out now, Bleach and Zombie. I'm just curious, like now I'm like now you have me locked in where I'm like I whatever the next Mirror Cell song is, whenever it's gonna happen, it keeps me excited for the next iteration. Do you feel like other people that either have done reaction videos or people that have commented on your posts have people been receptive of like the difference between like the Bleach and Zombie or I'm just curious since it is they are different, but I feel like they have like a similar ethos, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. I think it. Yeah, because the songs are so different. It's I because we put up a poll on our Instagram stories the other day because I was curious because of the
Sure.
difference between Zombie and Bleach. I just want to see where people what people are kind of vibing with, as far as like what type of music, uh, I guess each genre or each song supports.
Sure.
Um, and most of the people voted for Bleach. I
Hmm.
do understand why because it has been out longer. It it's doing. It has bigger numbers than Zombie, obviously, because of its time that it's been out. But I found that a lot of close peers that or people that I know voted for Bleach. So um, I don't know. I wonder. It's and the reason why I did that is because a lot of the material that we have planned to come out um, towards the end of this year and into next um, is similar to the songs that we've currently released and also drastically different.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm I totally got lost in the question.
No, 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 you're
Sorry.
good. Go shoot.
So yeah, what was the question again? Forgive me. It
No,
was
no, no, no. I basically, I was just kind of like tailing off from what of what you were saying about like the reception of the songs, right? I
oh
think
yeah,
like because they are different, right? And I like both of them. I don't know if I lean one way or the other personally, just because like I just like music. Like
yeah,
anything that I'm feeling, I feel like maybe if you picked me today, like I might be more of a zombie fan, and then tomorrow
right.
I might be more of a Bleach fan.
That's exactly how I am too. Yeah,
And I think it's based off of like that feeling of like finding that. And I think ultimately, as I mentioned before, it just kind of intrigues me to see like as you mentioned, Nate, just like having songs that are going to be a little bit more out there, right? Or have songs that are a little bit closer to what I expect. And I think that that's kind of the fun thing about being in this sort of scene is like I think there is a necessity for groups to just always try to like push the boundaries a little bit, right?
yeah,
To try to do something different. And I think that's what continues to make me come back to listen to groups is like are they elevating themselves? Are they having a good time with the music are releasing? Like do they like and I would assume that you genuinely love the music, otherwise I feel like you wouldn't have put it out. But um I find that like if the love for the songs that like you feel or the other members of me yourself feel like it's like, oh, they love these tracks, like okay, that's sick. And like obviously you can have a personal favor or a bias or whatever, but
yeah.
I think that like it's important for groups to branch out and always try to like stretch their legs. So I think it makes me excited to know that you guys are already in that process of being like, okay, so we have some out there songs that are going to be nuts, and we're excited to hear what people think about those. But like,
Yeah,
we're also excited at how well maybe the songs that are a little bit closer to home base, quote unquote, are going to do just
right.
based off of the reception of Bleach and Zombie.
Yeah, 100%. I respect bands that take risks. A
Mhm,
recent
same.
band that I felt like took a really big risk is a band called Code Orange. Uh,
Yes. Oh yeah.
I mean I found them back with I Am King back when I was in high school. Obsessed over them. Went back and listened to their Code Orange Kids stuff. Um, and took me a while to actually finally sit down and listen to Underneath. But when I first heard that, it was like just awesome all around. I'm a huge Nine Inch Nails fan, so I picked up like heavily on the industrial vibes and just loved it. And so I was really intrigued whenever they started, especially whenever they put out "Take Shape" with Billy Corgan uh,
Yeah.
and their other song that sounded more like Portishead called I think it was Mirrors or
I think
Mirror.
it's mirrors. Yeah,
Yeah,
mirror or mirrors. Yeah.
so so I just recently listened to their album and it's so different like and just I just respect that and it's so influential to an up and coming artist like me to just know that like okay these big dogs are taking risks and they don't care what people think. They're going to do what they like. They're going to do what vibes for them and overall like people might hate it at first but people eventually come around and that's just like what I've always respected with artists and musicians so I feel like it's only right to try and do that myself with this project.
I feel like it's important for groups to stand their ground, right? I think like a
Right.
lot of the times like you can be influenced by other people, and obviously I'm not saying like fans shouldn't give their opinion because I feel like you should. I
100%. Yeah.
but I also think that like my priority as a listener and as a fan, a general fan of music is like I want to know if the band's likes making this type of music. I think that's
Yeah.
what means more to me if anything else. Like you can tell when someone's being genuine about the type of music that they put out, right? Like, because they're like, I want to release the next song tomorrow, right? Like, and I think that that is like the true sentiment of like what I feel like with Mirror Cell is like what I've noticed is like every song is like just a journey, and I think it makes me excited to get another puzzle piece to add to
Yeah.
this journey. And I would hope that other people that have maybe not checked out Mirror Cell before, I would really recommend just like diving in, because I think it has this underlying like storyline, quote unquote, and but also at the same point, I think it's like musically, it's like you can have the heavy stuff, you can have the more like melodic stuff, and I think that they're gonna work harmoniously, because like once all the songs are out, then you're like, okay, now I get the vision, now it makes sense
Yeah.
to me. Like right now, it's like there's 2 songs out. If you're like, I don't know what they're doing, what are they doing, right?
Yeah.
Like I
Yep.
kind of see it as like a long play where it's like
That's
I might
100% right.
not get it now, but couple more songs in, I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, now I get it. You know what I mean? Like now it makes sense.
I've listened to all the songs that we have planned to release in order of how I'd like them to be presented as an EP. And it will make sense to
Okay.
everybody. It's kind of in disarray, and I kind of like that, to be honest, because I want people to be, I guess, interested on if we're going to drop a heavy song or if we're going to drop a lighter song next, or in between, or something completely weird and random. So I don't know. I I think it will all make sense, and like you said, it's a long play. I care about these songs so much, and I wanted each one to be like its own thing, its own
Sure.
story.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
that's why whenever we dropped Bleach, we did a like our whole like promo and everything for it, and then whenever it came time for Zombie, we archived everything, fresh slate. Now it's like we made this like new, I guess, aesthetic with like a virus system you take over
Yeah.
for it. So like we want each song to have a theme, and for, I guess, something to intrigue people on like, oh, like what type of theme are they going to go for next with their next song or next album or whatnot. So 100% long play.
Yeah, and I gotta give you kudos because I like fuck with the vision, you know. Like I think
Thank
it,
you.
to me, it's like it's such a cool thing that like all of that stuff is like wiped away essentially, and then it's like reset, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
all of this stuff is now out. Like they have the like to me as someone who is like a marketer, like I went to school for marketing, so like for me, it's like that's such a cool thing because like I find that bands don't really utilize that so well sometimes, and I was like I was genuinely like, this is so sick. Like, this is so fucking cool. Where I was like, they basically wipe the slate clean and then give you a whole fresh new coat of paint. And then the next one, they're gonna wipe it
Yeah.
again and do the same thing. And it's so interesting because then it gives you this artistic vision on each song, and it's like you want to be able to give a song a moment in the spotlight every time. It's not just like,
Right.
okay, like I'm just going to do this one thing, or I am just going to be like XYZ, right? Like I appreciate the fact that you are giving the time to each individual song, and it's not just like, oh, here's another single, and then just go about your day and then like throw out the rest of it and then like come back and be like, here's our second single. Like it's very methodical, and I think that I gotta give you credit or your team credit for putting that together, because I think that requires a lot of time, a lot of effort,
Oh, man.
a lot of moments where you're like, is this gonna work? How well is this gonna work? And
Thanks, man.
I gotta give it kudos. I love it.
Yeah. Patience is a virtue. I've been sitting on Zombie, and I'm sure Caleb will probably correct me, but I think I've been sitting on that song since like 2019, like
Wow. Whew.
maybe 2020 or 2021. I don't know, somewhere between those 3 years, which is so crazy to think that that was like, it feels like that was so long ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been sitting on some of these tracks forever, and it's really cool to like finally be able to unveil them to everybody, because I've listened to them a million times, and it's like I'm ready for the next thing. But it's like it's cool to be like, oh yeah, I remember this song. Like I've been sitting on it for so long, and it was buried like So I don't know.
Does it give you more of a
Patience,
does it
definitely.
give you more of a refresh knowing, like, when you release a song and the song's out, like, do you get a new lease on life on it? I'm just curious because, like you said,
Oh,
you've been sitting on these, so, like, when you go back and listen to it and people are like, "Oh my god, this is so sick, I like this." Like, does that kinda, like you're like, "Oh, okay, actually, I don't hate it as much as I feel like I do."
yeah. I mean, I definitely don't hate like one song more than the other. I love them
Sure,
all.
yeah.
Well, I mean, there is one song that we haven't
Oh
released that's definitely my favorite, but and I can send you that after this.
oh, shit.
Um, yeah. So it's definitely it's like refreshing because Zombie is probably the oldest song.
Oh,
Next to
okay.
next to one more, it's around the same date, whenever it was conceived, I guess. And it's because I had listened to it so many times during the process, and then obviously like afterwards, just to keep like
Yeah. Yeah.
the wheels turning on the process. It's refreshing to have it out and to actually listen to it as like a listener on like Spotify or something,
Yeah.
and it makes me like, oh yeah, like revisiting all the memories of creating it and whatnot, and just like seeing like people's reaction to it for the first time as opposed to my 400th time or something.
Th
So
that's
it's
true.
been cool. It's been cool to see people's reactions to some of this, to all the songs, really. Just because I've heard them for so long now.
Yeah, you wanted someone else to have a take on it versus your own.
Right,
I
right.
feel that.
It's
That's like
rejuvenating.
yeah, that I feel like that's similar to me when people are like, "Oh my god, you must have had a great time with X, Y, and Z like person on." And I was like, "I have watched this so many times because I've had to cut it up. I've had to like throw it like I get you. Like I get artists that are like, "Yeah, I'm kind of tired of it. Obviously, I love the song, but like I'm glad that I can move on to the next phase, you
It's
know?"
that.
So I
Yeah.
feel that. That's awesome. Um, the next question I have for you, Nate, is for people who haven't checked out Mirrorcell, and this may be the first interview that they watch. What song would you recommend to a new listener to check out first to give them an idea? I know that's kind of a little contradictory
There's
to
only
what we
two.
just talked about, and we only have two songs out. But is there anyone that you feel a little bit more kinship to? I guess.
Um, uh, that's tough because we only have two songs out, so it's like,
Unless you wanna spoil it and give a name to another one. I don't wanna jump the gun, so
I don't know. I don't know if I can spoil that one
Oh,
yet.
okay, so,
It,
can you
I
say if it's a new song? If it's a new song that isn't out yet, you can just
So
say that.
yes, there is a new song that we will be releasing sometime. Maybe soon, maybe not. That is definitely gonna. It's everyone in the group's favorite song. It's everyone who I've showed. It's their favorite song as well. So that would be my personal pick. Now, for somebody who's
Uh,
just trying to see our current discography, I feel like it's probably right to start with Bleach just because that song encompasses so much. There's so many different, I guess, elements of the song that a listener of music in general can like. You know, if you like shoegaze, Deftonesy stuff, then there's the choruses for you on that. If you like industrial, Nine Inch Nail style stuff, the verses are very influenced by that. So I feel like Bleach is a good song that I don't want to say safe, but like anyone could like necessarily like. Zombie. I feel like is more for like the hardcore, like I don't know, like it's tough because there's like really like poppy influences in it as well. So I don't know. It's really up to you. Just go check it out. There's only two songs out. It doesn't hurt to check
yeah.
out.
It's like you got 8 minutes of time probably, you know,
Yeah,
so do it up. Check them
exactly.
both out. Check the links below. I'll leave
Yeah.
links to all of Miracell stuff, but, I think I mean, if I had to choose between the 2, I don't know. I don't know which one I would go with right now. I feel like, mm, I would probably say because Bleach was the first one I listened to, I'd probably say start with Bleach, but
It's got a good
I
chorus.
now you have me intrigued for the song that's your favorite because like, if that's as good as either one of those songs or, like, a combination,
It's
that's gonna be hard.
well, it's tough. I don't want to speak too much on it,
Sure,
but
yeah, I got you. You
it
gotta keep it cryptic, right?
yeah, it's got elements that I feel like a lot of people will like, but it's also kind of like the most different song, if that makes sense.
Okay, it's got a little curveball element. I like that. I'm
Yeah,
about it.
100%, 100%. I think it will really be like the staple of like what we want to do moving forward with Mirror Cell, or just like that like Mirror Cell sound, if that makes sense. We're
Okay.
always going to experiment. We're always I'm a core kid.
Hey, yeah, same.
I love heavy music, but I'm also influenced by like Bjork and Sinead O'Connor, and
Oh.
you know, and a lot of '90s stuff as well. So it's I'm always you're never gonna know what to expect from us, I
It's a
guess.
mixed bag, and like one of the best mixed bags you can get. So go check out Mirror Cell if you haven't already. But I think what I appreciated the most about it, as I mentioned before, I think that you guys are very like very fluid in the way that you go about writing both Bleach and Zombie. And again, I'm very stoked for what's gonna happen next. But I have to ask Nate, like, who is like the first artist that you saw on like TV or YouTube or something like that, or heard on the radio, and you're like, I want to do that. That seems cool.
Man, that's tough. Trying to think of artists that. So obviously, what got me into metal music and everything was definitely the stuff that was being played on MTV. So, you know, Rob Zombie, Blink, a lot of those like
Yeah, yeah,
Metallica,
yeah.
like a
Yeah.
lot of those types of bands. That's what in like Linkin Park. That's where I was like, whoa, and like fell into that world. But I always go back to this one band that made me want to be, I guess, a vocalist or like a harsh vocalist and like scream. That
Okay.
was a band called Sworn In. I don't know if they're still
Yes.
doing stuff or not.
They're not, unfortunately. No.
But yeah, I remember I heard the Death Card for the first time, and then their next album following, and I just remember hearing that and was like, I want to do vocals. So and then started going down that journey. So I'm sure that was probably like the first band that like pushed me, and then obviously like a lot of other. The list is endless, man. Like I said, like I'm a huge Bjork fan and Portishead, and I love a lot of like '90s new metal stuff. So like Mudvayne, 40 Seconds Below,
Oh.
Cold Chamber. So you know, Slipknot. You know, the
Yeah.
big three. So, but yeah, I would say as far as what got me into doing like metalcore stuff, Sworn In. As far as what got me into like playing guitar and like learning like music and everything, I would have to say like Metallica, or like early like '90s punk stuff.
Yeah, I love that. I'm kind of in the same boat. I fell more into like I was I kind of branched out more so into like scene type music was like when I turned
Yeah.
like around like 2010s, like the rise core era, that's
Oh
like
yeah.
my bread and butter,
Yeah.
I'll live and die on that hill, but um I I feel like the groups that I was trying to kind of associate you with, or like at least like for fans of quote unquote, I like definitely felt like there was a strong Nine Inch Nails like sound. Like I think that you definitely took a lot of influence from Trent Reznor. So I love that element of it because I find that like the only other band I can think of that had like some really fun like industrial elements was like Woe Is Me. Like I definitely feel like they
Oh
pulled
yeah.
some of those elements out of there. Obviously I know sonically you don't sound like Woe Is Me besides that, um but I really appreciated your notes on that. I feel like the obvious one to mention is like Loathe. I feel like you definitely have
Well,
like a Loathe influence as well. Um but there's also like another band that I like can't quite think of that I've been trying to like rack my brain about all day, trying to think of like where I feel like sonically you match up with. And if I can think about it, I'll throw the text up on the screen. But like there's definitely another band that I like listened to both Bleach and Zombie, and I was like, this band has something that I can't like normally I'm pretty good with placing it, but there was some band that I like couldn't quite lay out in my head that I know you guys have like influenced by that I can't remember. Like I know
well,
it's there.
I feel like it's important. While I feel like a lot of people say like the same type of influence, like Metallica, Nine Inch Nails, Slipknot, Korn, whatever. I think obviously that is important, but I think what's more important, being a newer artist, is to, I guess, name drop more, I guess, like up and coming bands,
Sure, yeah.
and bands that are kind of that are just now getting their start. So a lot of like recent bands, I would say, that have influenced me, aside from like hardcore stuff like Spy, Dead Body, and whatnot. I think some good influences, especially for Mirrorcell, has been Static Dress. I
Oh,
really like those
yeah.
guys. I love
Shout
everything they do.
outs.
Their aesthetic. Loathe is amazing. Obviously, you pinpointed that. Mood Ring is sick.
That was another one that
Yeah,
I have two more that I know for a fact. So
they're
yeah, Mood Ring
awesome.
was one of them. Yeah.
Mood Ring's good. Void of Vision's really
That
good.
was
I
the other
love.
one. You got
Nice.
it.
Yeah, no, they're so cool, and I love everything that these newer bands are doing. And I think a really big one, that maybe a lot of listeners don't know about, is a band called Omerta. Um,
Yes. Oh,
Dude,
so
I
good. I
so when I
love
heard
them.
hyperviolence, I like shit myself. I was like, this is like early like self-titled Slipknot vibes. Like
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's so unique and different. There's like hyper pop elements and rap and new metal and new core metal, and it's like
Yeah.
and grindcore and all this shit. And it's just it's when I heard that, I was like, they're the next big band, 100%. They're going to be the next Slipknot. Like those, I think they've been like really influential for like as making it feel like as a new and up and coming artist that it's okay to try different things and to experiment with different sounds and whatnot.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I couldn't remember it, but as soon as you started naming off fans, I was like, I got it. Like the the brain started working again. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, definitely like a Mood Ring, a Void of Vision, Loathe, like you guys encapsulate that kind of like fusion of like industrial, like a little electronic core, like definitely obviously heavier styles of music as well too, but I appreciate the fact that like you guys are not capping yourself on like trying to go out and do different things. Like I think that's what I was really stoked about was that like I sat down and listened to both and I was just like this is back to back, mind you. And I was like it's so cool to just listen to Bleach and Zombie back to back because I think it's like it was so cool to see how much of a shift there was, like right one after another, where I felt like, oh wow, they have a lot of range, and I think that a lot of bands, like especially newer bands, tend to play a little bit closer to home, and I respect that, you know, because you're
yeah,
never sure of how it will go, but I appreciate like that was like my initial thought was just like I appreciate how like diverse they want to be right out the gate and how important that is for artists to do that. So I gotta give you your flowers, your kudos, because I think it's so cool. And again, I'm very excited to see what's gonna be coming next with Mirrorcell because I was genuinely like surprised that like you were just like, oh yeah, hit me up, let's do this thing. You know, like I was like, that's awesome. So big salutes to you, Nate, for coming on
yeah.
as well.
Likewise.
Um, but I have to ask the next question, Nate. What are you currently listening to now? What's on the Spotify? What have you been
Oh,
jamming to recently?
oh man.
Feel free to
Oh,
take your phone out. This is do your homework. You know.
oh, that's tough because the thing is, I really base what I listen to kind of, I mean, on mood, but also like on like I'm a very seasonal type listener.
Okay.
So as I pull up my phone, there's a Black Bear song that I was most recently listening to.
I
So it's
respect it.
yeah. So yeah, I mean listening to a lot of like Smashing Pumpkins, Godhead, Lady Gaga,
Oh,
Portishead,
all right.
funny enough, Old Wounds.
Old
I'm wearing a
wounds.
shirt.
Shout outs. Yeah.
But then I also like a lot of like post punk type stuff, which people soon come to find out. And a lot of newer dark wave stuff. So Mr. Kitty. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but it's Marex or Maru or something. He made that meme song. Well, I don't think it was intentionally a meme. It became a meme, but it's called "The Perfect Girl." Um, and then obviously like The Cure, The Smiths. The list goes on. I could name drop artists I'm listening to,
No,
but
those are
currently
great.
because it's fall time, I typically go back to listening to a lot of like Smashing Pumpkins, like Adore, Typo Negative.
Oh,
Uh, I'm trying to think of other bands.
like the
Uh,
emo, like darker stuff, because it's like getting
Rammstein.
colder out. I feel you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I've been loving Ice Nine Kills' new stuff
Oh
recently,
yeah.
and they're like the pinnacle of like horror metal. So it only feels right to put on some of their stuff time to time. So yeah, the I guess the spectrum of music, it's endless.
I feel that as someone who will like literally jump from I was listening to like Throne at the gym earlier,
Oh, I
and
love
then they're so good. Shout outs to Throne.
yeah.
But I listen
They're
to Throne, and then I'll go to like K-pop groups. I've been really into K-pop
yeah.
recently, so I'll jump over to K-pop, and then I'll go like now since it's getting colder out, obviously in Pennsylvania. I'll go and listen to like Phoebe Bridgers, Julian Baker, like City and Color. That shit that just makes me sad.
Fall vibes.
Uh,
Yeah.
the quintessential sad boy album of all time, Tunnel Vision by Turnover. I feel like
Oh, yep.
that's the go-to. That's the
That's
emo
a good.
album
Yep.
of the fall. So I listen to
Oh
that
yeah.
at least once or twice a week. But yeah, I feel you on that, and I think it's important, and I appreciate the fact that you gave some like ones that are out there, right? Like that's sick.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. I think my go-to like sad time album for fall is Disintegration by The Cure.
Oh, that's a
That song
great
has no
one.
skip for me. Oh,
That's a great
so
album.
good. But a band I was actually listening to at the gym today, that's new up and coming, is called Pale Dusk. Oh
Yes.
my
Oh,
god. If you haven't checked them,
yes. So good.
they're insane. I think my favorite song by them is BBB.
That's a great
And
one.
dude, I love everything they do. They're sick. They're a solid band, and they're another band like Omerta that I think is gonna be like the next big thing, like from our era of music.
Yeah, I just watched their live set on Hate 56. It was
Oh, sick.
wildly good. Like I would recommend anybody to go check that out because that gives the best perspective on this band. It's so sane. So,
I'll have to definitely go check that out. I love that guy's channel.
yeah, great stuff. I think I guess for Pale Dusk, I don't know. I really enjoyed their new song with Masato from Cold Rain, another awesome
Yeah,
Japanese like post-hardcore band. Um, but yeah, that was a great song too. That I really enjoyed that. They've really been kind of just like they're a band that I always keep an eye out for now because they just write the most innovative stuff.
100%.
But the next question I have for you, Nate, is a fun one. If you guys could pick a
Yeah,
song to
100%.
cover, what would it be?
Oh, I thought about this. I don't know if Mirrorcell will ever do covers. I think it would be fun, but I think a cool one would be "Number One Crush" by Garbage.
Oh,
Is a song that came out in the '90s. Not sure if a lot of people are aware of that band. They have a couple hits. I think that would be a really fun one. Forgive me, I'm blanking on what other
no,
possibilities
no.
would be cool.
Think about it.
I don't know if I have the vocal capabilities as Chino from Deftones, but a Deftones cover would be sick.
Ooh, that would be
Um,
clean. I like that.
I feel like that's people will find out that we're obviously heavily influenced by them as well. So I don't know. Yeah, that's just the first two that kind of come to mind as far as like classic songs that we could do. I'm sure I'll think of like a million after this
Don't
and be
worry.
like, oh, this. But
Send me a
yeah,
DM. I'll make sure to put the like scrolling credits of like all the Nate choices up here.
he also said this and this. And yeah.
I'm trying to think. I would, you know what? Honestly, I think it would be really cool to see you do like a pop goes punk cover. Like, I think that would be,
Oh,
I would
dude,
be about it.
I would cover Gaga Heartbeat.
Oh, okay. Any
That'd be,
what specific? Do you have any Lady Gaga song that you would want to cover?
I mean, anything really off of Born This Way. But I don't know. I don't know. People will probably
Interesting.
not like Mirrorcell anymore for that answer.
No,
But
I think that's awesome. I love Lady Gaga, so big salutes. But yeah,
um,
I would be about that.
it's tough because I would love to do like something really heavy or something like that, where like we take like a poppy song and just kind of make it our own thing. So I don't know. It's definitely food for thought. I have thought about maybe doing a cover or something in the future. I think that'd be fun. So I'll definitely keep that one in the vault. Maybe you might see a Gaga cover. Who knows?
Who knows? Well, guys, if you have a good suggestion for me or Cell, make sure to drop a comment. I can't
Yeah,
guarantee
please.
that they would do it, but I mean, I feel like Nate's up for it. So if you give him a good suggestion, you can
I
let
feel
him
like
know
Mud would
there.
be a good one too. Talking about them, or I'm a
Ooh.
huge LD50 guy. So I don't know, like maybe like Death Blooms or Dig or Pushing Through, or I don't know. That's or maybe Nickelback. Who knows?
I'm trying to think. I want to think about this now. I feel like I could have. I feel like I could think up a good cover. Um, I don't know. I feel like you guys could crush maybe like a Billie Eilish track. I feel like that'd be kind of sick.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
Cause
Man,
she's
it's
kind of
so
got like
tough.
that darker tone, you know. I feel
Yeah,
like that could. I think that could
it,
go over well.
I I feel like because like covering like being a metal band and covering a metal song, it's kind of like, oh cool, they did this, but they're already like and like
A
a
metal
metal
band,
band
yeah.
inspired by this. So I think it, like you said, like a pop cover or something like different that like is kind of out of your genre is like kind of the best move when it comes to doing a cover. So it would have to definitely be something like either like post punk or like pop or something that like just we you don't necessarily would think would work but could work.
Or like a Post Malone. I feel like that'd be tight. Or
Oh man,
I know
I don't
you
know. He's
just
a
meant.
really good singer.
I know you mentioned Black Bear. I feel like you could do like. I don't know if you're an OG. I don't know if you're an OG Black Bear stan,
Dead
but
Flowers.
I feel like I was gonna say something off Dead Flowers would crush. I feel like that'd be awesome. I'd be about that. That would be my co-sign. I feel like that. I would love to hear something. If you guys did a cover from Dead Flowers, I think
I don't know. He
I'd be on.
has a beautiful falsetto voice, and I don't want to ruin that. You know, I
You
don't
can
want
make
to.
it heavy though. I think I'm seeing the vision. So I feel like
Thank you.
if I had to say, I think anything a song off of Black Bears, Dead Roses. I feel like you guys could do a bang up job on that one.
Hell yeah. Thank
So
you. I.
let's see. Let's see. Well, guys, let us know in the comments. But uh,
Please.
next question I have for you, Nate, is what is your favorite food to eat?
Oh man, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Oh man. Um, I'm not sure. It's I love food, so
Fair enough. Same. Yeah.
it's just gonna tie for me. Recently I've been eating a lot of BB Bop. I don't know if
Oh,
I
yeah. I love Bibimbap. Yeah.
I love that place. I I don't know. It's tough because I'm Italian, so I feel like obligated to say like pizza or some
Or
type of
pasta.
Italian pasta or whatnot. But um, yeah, I love really any type of Asian food. Mexican food's amazing as well. Being from the Midwest, I also feel obligated to say barbecue. Uh, so gun to my head, but man, I'll eat anything. So
I liked your bibimbap
sorry,
choice. That's like that speaks to me as being Korean. I love me some bibimbap. So that's a great choice. Yeah.
yeah, I've probably spent more money than I should there. But they just have so many good options when it comes to bowls and whatnot that you can make, and it's just so good.
Oh, crushing it. I love that. That's a power move. Definitely digging that one. Uh the next question I have for you, Nate, is if you were to have a dream collaboration on an up and coming Mirror Cell song, who would you love to have on as a collaboration? This question has actually split into two parts. One, the first part is a more feasible feature, like if you like wink, wink, nudge, nudge at the camera, and said
Okay.
like, hey, friend that I've known for a bit, like, we should do a song
Yeah.
together. And then the second part of the question is a manifestation. Like if you were dreaming this up, like we're putting in all the positive aura to your answer.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Um, so as far as like a friend or a fellow band that is in our, excuse me, that's in our circle or people that I'm acquainted with,
Mhm.
I would say. So I have two choices because
Ooh, I like this. Okay.
tears it tears me up to like have to choose between because they
Fair
both
enough.
are nice
I'll
to
give you
me.
the pass.
So the first one I would say is a somewhat local band in our area called Dead Seven. They also work with Ben and Caleb, amazing guys. And I feel like our genres um, just blend so well together in our sound, which I mean could be hand in hand with writing with Caleb and Ben, but
Sure, yeah.
also I feel like we're also both different entities in the same way that could also work together. So I would say I would love to collaborate with Jason and get his vocals on a song or vice versa and whatnot. I
Ooh,
think good, and anyone who hasn't heard of them should definitely go check them out. They have some bangers for sure. I mean, that's to say, like, if you like us, then you'll definitely like them. Another band is out in Kentucky. They're called Cohen Noise. Uh,
yes, shout outs. I've had them on ages ago, but
oh,
yeah,
cool, dude.
yeah.
That's so crazy. I would love to work with them too. I think that they're also really good, talented musicians that are somewhat in our region. And I've talked to them before, and I'm sure we'll do some form of collaboration, whether that be a show or I would think it would be cool to do some type of feature thing. So if they're listening or if anyone knows of them, wouldn't hurt. It'd be
That'd be
fun.
sick. All right, all right. And then what's the
Awkward.
manifestation, Nate? What do you
I'm always
got?
manifestation. Um, wow, that's tough. Um, so I feel like, ah, it's so tough. I feel like I have to narrow it down to like three or something, or else I'm gonna like feel like I lost.
Sure.
So, so as far as somebody like way out there, that may or may not work, I think it would be awesome to collaborate with Jamie from Code Orange. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
or Rita. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. They're both kind of singing in the band, so I don't anyone from their band. I think they're a sick band and group of people that'd be fun to work with. I love his voice too. I think it'd be really cool to collaborate with Mood Ring.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, Hunter is just an all around like. I mean, his stuff and his other projects is insane. Like he's just such a talented vocalist, and another band that's definitely influential for us. So I feel like it would be a good like bridging of like newer up and coming like metalcore music.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think it would be sick to collaborate with Loathe as well. I saw their most recent song with Static Dress that they did a song together. So or Static Dress, like I think they'd be sick as well. I feel like as more of our music comes out, people will start to probably group us in like the category of music that they're doing as well with the whole shoegazy Deftones element. So I think that would be fun. Or Bjork, or Black Bear, or Portis.
I love the
It goes on.
choices. These are good. These are some good ones. But if you guys want to see Mirrorcell collaborate with any of those fantastic groups, make sure to tag them, and then type the word collab question mark, and then just post it on your story. I think that. I've been on the internet long enough to know that if I see that on the internet, I feel like it's gonna happen. So like,
Yeah.
just saying. Powers to you guys. I'm gonna do it, but like,
Hey, if the opportunity ever came its way with anyone I named off, I would not second guess it. It'd be cool.
yeah, I would feel completely accomplished, as an interviewer if this manifested through this. I would be on point. I would feel a sense of accomplishment. I wouldn't want any credit. I wouldn't want anything. I would just know that I interviewed Nate and we said this on the podcast, and they were like, "Yeah, so we watched this, and like we said, yeah, sure, why not? Let's do it."
Oh yeah.
So that would be my claim to fame. So I'm about it. But the next question I have for you, Nate, is my personal favorite. I love asking this question. As you know, I'm a nerd, so I love asking this question to other fellow nerds. If you could be a video game character, who would you be?
Oh man.
I knew I was asking the right question because I saw your computer screen in the back, and I was like, "There's
Oh,
no I was like, "There's no fucking way he's not a nerd." Like in the most cordial of ways. I was like,
thank you.
"He is definitely a nerd for sure."
Yeah, I got the nice spooky background going in the.
Yeah,
Got to fit the vibe.
I feel.
Wow, that's a tough one.
I know you
Crazy.
can do it. I know you can do it. I got it.
So, so I mean, anybody from Resident Evil, be sick. Leon Kennedy.
I
I
was gonna
mean,
say, yeah.
that I grew up with those games. Same with the Silent Hill games as well. So, that's like my go-to when I think about it. Is like far as like badass characters. But I'm also a huge Mortal Kombat guy as well. I think it'd be cool to be Noob Saibot. Uh,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
um, or man, that's tough. I also play a lot of Destiny, so like
Oh, nice.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man. Yeah, you know what? I'll have to go with Leon Kennedy. It's the safe bet. Resident Evil, like just the best character ever. I
Spooky
mean, come
time.
on,
It's the perfect
spooky
time
time.
of the
Yeah,
season. Yeah.
exactly. I gotta pick a fitting question.
It's an optimal choice, for the season. But I don't know if I always question whether or not when people like pick like a Leon Kennedy or like a Silent Hill or like a character from like a horror game. I'm just like, is life not like hard enough for you already that you would have to like pick
I guess yeah, that's a lot of busy work. I might want to pick something.
I'm like, you would never be able to sleep. You would just constantly be in fear that like a zombie like invasion is coming. You're always
Right.
like on the run. You're like, do I have enough ammunition?
I
Like
was gonna say,
I'm not straying you away from your choice. You picked it for a reason, but like,
my first choice was gonna be like a hunter from Bloodborne or from the Souls game, but that might be way worse because I've died so many goddamn times that I don't know if I could endure that in real life as
oh
well.
my
So,
god, I
so
love
you're
it.
right.
Like that live your truth, if that's what you want. But like I that's often what I think about when people pick like, oh yeah, I'd love to be like the boss from Bloodborne, or like I would love to be like the main character in Bloodborne. I was just like, I'm like, I like sometimes don't even want to get out of my bed in the morning. Like, why would I want to be like if I was a Bloodborne character, I would just like crawl in a fetal position. I'd just be like, please just like step over me, or like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm not about it. I couldn't do it. Maybe you just
What
like
would
live
your
in
pick? I'm
I think
curious.
you just like to live life in hard mode, which I respect.
Right.
My choice, I love Pokemon. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, so I would be the Pokemon trainer from Gold and Silver. That is like
Oh,
my tried and true pick every time because I'm just such a huge Pokemon fan. Gen 2 is my favorite generation.
yep.
So I would probably go with that. And it just seems a little bit easier,
There you go. That's
like
it's nice, easy life.
nice, easy life.
Unlike Leon Kennedy over here, I'm gonna be
Meanwhile, I'll be
Big
waving from
Trumbo.
my like game over to yours, and you're just
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
like so. Great
Valid
choice,
choice.
though. Great choice. I mean, I've never been really a big fan of like scary video games because I'm a baby, but I gotta give a lot of respect to like Resident Evil. I think they're great. I think like the storyline is really fun. If I like enjoyed zombies, I feel like I'd be fully invested in a Resident Evil game, but I am not, and so more power to people that enjoy that sort of stuff. I just can't do it. I don't know. I listen to scary music, so I feel like that's like that's my
There you go.
barometer for how far I can go.
I
but
understand that.
the next question I have for you, Nate, is if you were to compile a dream tour lineup including Mirrorcell, who would be on this tour? It would be 4 bands plus your band, so 5 bands total.
Damn.
We're going a stack lineup, baby.
I know. Oh man. So obviously, I feel like it's right to throw the homies on there as well. So
Fair.
I'll just take the first two slots and say Dead Seven and Cohen.
Ooh,
Uh,
okay, nice.
so damn, that only leaves me two more.
I respect it though. I respect it.
um, damn, that's crazy difficult. I think Void would be cool.
Oh yeah.
Um, or I mean, obviously Deftones would be cool too. But yeah, I would have to say like with more like newer like up and coming bands, probably O Murder Unloathe, or sub them out with Void Division or Mood Ring or some other band or Throne. You brought them up,
Oh yeah.
and now I just want to go listen to Throne.
They're so good. I love
Oh, they're
them.
amazing. You know what? Actually, a band I haven't mentioned that I would put on tour is a band called Graphic Nature. They're sick. They're from
Yes.
the
Oh
UK.
my god.
They go
They're
hard.
awesome.
They go
Yes.
hard. So yeah, it would be the homies, Graphic Nature, and we'll just say Loath. I think that'd be a sick lineup.
That'd be hard. I'd be
And
about
then
that.
us on support because we're not nearly as good as any of those bands.
Oh no. You gotta give yourself some more credit, Nate. Mirrorcell fucking rips. So please go show them some love down in the comments. Then they'll, listen. Then they'll be up there. They'll come see. They'll come to your city, your town, whatever. That's what helps. So go do it. But the next question I have for you, Nate, is favorite TV show, favorite movie.
Ooh, man. Favorite. You know what? I'm pulling up Letterbox right now.
Wow. Okay, so I asked the right question to the right person then.
Me and my fiance are definitely movie connoisseurs.
I got you.
So
The cinephiles. I got you. Yeah.
exactly. Ooh. So okay, our top four in movies, and this is split between
Wow.
the two
Oh,
of us.
okay. That's crazy.
Um,
Okay,
they're
I'm feeling it. Okay.
they're gonna be horror movies.
Okay.
I'm a huge
that
horror
that
fanatic,
checks out.
but I also love like all other types of movies as well. I watch more movies than I probably should.
Nah.
But our
Do it
our
up.
top four would be Hereditary, another movie called The Sadness. Really good film, really gory, really kind of fucked up. Um, I really liked Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes. Oh, that's
Uh,
fantastic. Yeah. Can't
and then
agree.
a really underrated movie that not a lot of people talked about is called Ghostland, from 2018, or it might be Incident in Ghostland. I can't remember which the title was, but really good movie. It's definitely a horror film, but it has like a really unique twist
Hmm.
that not a lot of people, I don't think, will anticipate. So definitely recommend that one. Or Possession, 1980. I could go on. I could go on forever. You have to stop me.
And
Um,
then what TV shows, Nate? What do you got?
oh yeah. So we're currently watching The Fall of House of Usher. I think I said
Yes.
that.
Okay. You got
Um,
it right. Yeah. I'm pretty
and
sure that's correct.
I really like it so far. But as far as favorite TV show, I'm a huge Walking Dead fan.
That makes
Uh,
sense. That's also, yeah.
love the early seasons. There's a new, well, not really new. It came out in 2014 or 13, directed by Guillermo del Toro, called The Strain, that we've
Oh,
been
yeah.
watching.
I've
It
seen
was an
that. Yeah.
FX show. I've loved it so far. We're on the last season of it, and it's kind of taken a weird direction, but that show has been really good. So yeah, I guess one of
You
those
got
two.
some good ones. I can't speak on the horror or anything like that because that's probably about the farthest thing left that I can't watch that I won't like. I don't know. I grew up like religious, so like my parents like beat into my head that like horror movies are like not good, and I don't know if it's also because like I had like my friends used to be pretty fucked up, and so I hate clowns. Like so they
No.
made me watch it as a kid, and I was like, now I'm like no, I will not like inadvertently like if I see a clown on the street, I'm not gonna go up and like go punch them. But like if I go to like a scary like theme park or something like that or a haunted house, I am definitely decking that clown. There's no way like I will they would take every urge of my body to not do that. So I please, if you do that, I don't do it because I don't want to go to jail. So But yeah, I don't know. I just can't. There's something about it, and people are like, "Oh, well, you like thriller movies," and I was like, "Yeah, well, that's like suspense. I like being in suspense. I don't like if someone's just like going crazy." So if you have any good suspense films, Nate, let me know because
Oh, I can send you my letterbox link. You can go through it all. Yeah, I love thrillers.
Okay,
I
okay,
love
good.
every type of.
Do you have any that you can think of off the top of your head that you would recommend that isn't like I wouldn't say like if it's like suspenseful, like I like
Yeah,
that. It's not like it doesn't have to be like crazy like, "Oh my god, there's so much blood coming out of this person. That's
yeah,
wild."
yeah. So one thriller that I watched recently that I never heard about. I think it was from 2002. It's
Mhm.
called Panic Room. It has Jared Leto in it, and someone else. I can't remember some other big actor.
You said it's Panic
Panic
Room?
Room.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna look it up real
and
quick.
essentially the synopsis of the story is a family that has like a tremendous amount of wealth or something. They're like about to move out or something, and then a group of robbers break into their house and they lock themselves in the panic room, and it kind of goes crazy from there.
Whew.
Uh, it's not necessarily. I wouldn't say it's a horror. It's more of a suspense film, and slash home invasion. But I watched that one recently and I was pleasantly surprised and was like, how did I never hear about this? So
Interesting.
definitely recommend that one. I'm like kind of peeping my letterbox here on the side.
It
For other
features Jodie Foster, and
ah
Kristen Stewart.
yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That seems interesting. I'm about it.
That's a good one. Um yeah, I can't think of anything else. Honestly.
That is all right. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a DM with all all the thriller movies I can ever want.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. Awesome. The next question I have for you, Nate, is if you were trapped on a desert island for the next month and there was one album you could bring with you to listen to, what album would that be?
Oh
I'm
no.
really hitting you with the hard questions. I feel kind of bad, but these are questions I typically ask, so I don't feel as bad.
Oh no. Well, um man, that is so tough.
I'm
Um
sorry.
Again, it's another situation where I feel like I have to pick like a top three, or else I've
Okay, give
lost
me.
them.
I like you, Nate. So give me three. I could see you really just struggling out here.
So I have some, I guess you could say, rather controversial ones based off of people's opinions about their album selection or the artist themselves. But I'm a huge Smiths fan,
Oh,
and one album that I love through and through that has no skips for me is "The Queen Is Dead." Um, I love that album. It's like an anytime type of album for me where it could come on at any point and I could listen to it all the way through. Um, oh, that's difficult. So I could say like anything by AFI as well.
that also makes sense. That checks.
So, oh yeah, my other controversial one was, and not a lot of people like the Michael Graves era of the Misfits, but I am a huge Misfits fan as well, and I would have to say "Famous Monsters"
Oh,
by the
okay.
Misfits. I also love Static Age, so don't throw stones again. And I love Danzig, but yeah, probably that. Um, Man, that is so hard. I'm trying to think of albums that kind of has like everything. That way I could not get bored of listening to like the same metal or the
That's
same
fair. Yeah.
punk album or something over and over. Um, I guess I would have to say "Debut" by Bjork.
Oh, all right. I like that. That's a good
So I'm
choice.
sorry that was a three-parter, but
Nah, that's all right.
it's so hard to choose one.
I feel like every time I ask that question, I have like a little sinking gut feeling that I'm like, man, if they flipped the question on me, I would be so like I'd be so bothered. But I'll answer it in the sake of because I feel guilty, so I'll answer my pick.
Yes, please.
So I have to look up the name because I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I know the band. So there's this new band that I found called Wave to Earth, and they're a Korean uh jazz like jazz pop kind of group. I don't even really know how to. They have like a little bit of blues. They have jazz influence.
Oh, okay.
They're really sick. I love them. And then if you like also threw John Mayer in the mix, then
Oh,
like
sick.
that's what they the vibe they go for, right? So they had this new album that came out this year called it's 0.1 called Flaws and All. And I have legitimately, since they showed up on my Spotify like playlist, like recommended, I have been listening to this album nonstop. So I would say that would be I probably have listened to this album for a month straight now at this point. So
Added,
I
man. I'm adding them. I'm checking
oh,
them
it's a
out.
vibe. It's so good. I love their stuff and their previous EP. I think it's called Summer Flow 0.02. That's also great. That came out in 2020. But yeah, though that band has been big on my list. I feel like they're gonna
Yeah.
be in my top 10 this year for albums of the year for
Okay.
sure. 100%.
I like that. I respect that you picked a newer album as well because I wanted to default my answer back to Around the Fur by Deftones. Thinking
Oh,
about
that's a
it,
good
they have a
one.
lot of like different types of songs. Or God, man, I could really go for any Deftones album, but I respect that you picked a newer band, so to speak, just because it's so easy to default to classics or to older ones. I think it would be interesting to be. I think it's actually smart to be stuck with a band that you haven't listened to as much because I feel like might get sick of those albums that I've listened to already a million times if I was stuck on an island with it.
Sure. I will say if I had an OG pick, I would probably say Seosin self-titled.
Oh
That's the album that
yeah,
hit me. I can probably recite the entire album. I
nice.
that band has meant so much to me personally, and I had the opportunity to interview Cove in his other project, Dead American. So I told him like this is a bucket list person to have on my show. So shout outs to
That
Cove. Love that guy.
that's cool.
But yeah, that would be my pick. If I had since you picked an OG pick, I feel like I gotta do it a justice. But yeah, that band's awesome. But the last thing I have for you, Nate, is a question I round out all of my interviews with. If you haven't checked out Mirrorcell, Nate's gonna tell you all about him in just a few moments. But I wanted to know, Nate, what makes you passionate about making music? Like, I think oftentimes I look at it from the perspective of like, hey, like this music's awesome, but I love hearing why people are passionate about making music because I feel like from a listener's perspective, I don't feel like sometimes people get how difficult it is to wait, sit on the music, make the music, how
Yeah,
expensive it is, touring, all of these things that are like involved with like the music making and just like process of love of making music. I just want to know what fuels you, what drives you to continue to stay passionate about music because I think it's very easy for you to become jaded about it
oh yeah.
or something similar. So, what keeps you passionate about it, Nate?
Um, well, it it kind of feels like the only thing I know how to do, or the only thing I can do. So I feel very, um, I guess, cornered into into having to make this work. I, I've been around music my whole life. I love music. It's all I care about. It's all I know about. It's just it is me. So that mixed with I've always been artistic. So I love expressing art, whether that be through painting, drawing, or writing. So it's a great way to get out your artistic vision, and it feels good, obviously, to get affirmation from people and to see what your music is like, what type of effect it's having on people. I
Sure.
it's super meaningful to hear that, like, whenever somebody reaches out and says like, hey, I found your music and this is what it means to me, or it helped me through this and whatnot. Like, I feel like that's kind of like the gilded answer that a lot of bands give, but it is true. That's what music did for me growing up. Helped me through a lot of really tough situations, and it also put me on a track of like where I wanted my life to go. And then obviously the community as well. I found all of my friends that I'm still close with through music,
Same. Yeah.
and made so many friends, and like met you as well. So it's just like
Oh.
the network and like the community that comes with being an artist and being a musician. It's endless and fruitful.
Yeah, no, I don't think I could have named it any better, honestly. Like that's what I love about like I feel like probably similarly to you is like I've felt this sense of home. Like there's a camaraderie within
Yes.
this type of music that I don't like it's hard to explain to other people. Like people just don't understand like I don't understand how this guy screams. Like, I don't understand what they're saying. Like, how can you feel something about it? Like, and whether it's like a heavy band and I just feel like really cathartic about it, and it's just like emotions that I've always wanted to just like get out but couldn't, like some songs just speak to you in that way. But also, I think it's like I feel the most accepted when I'm at a show. I
Yeah.
feel like that's my element. That's what I like. I love being surrounded by some of some of my closest friends. Like it's just so nice and like and just meeting people online, including yourself, Nate. Like such a nice human being. Like it's
Like,
to me, it's like that's what I love. And like if I had saw you on the street, like I feel like I would be scared as fuck because like like you have tattoos, you're like bigger dude. Like I feel like most times people get that perception of like heavy people, like people like that look that way, and they're like they must be like the meanest person on the face of the earth. And I think it's hilarious because oftentimes they're like the fucking nicest people I've ever met in my entire life.
right.
I've not met a metalhead that hasn't been like super nice or hospitable in any sort of way. Like it's just it's just
Something there's something about it. Like I feel
yeah.
like if I would have passed you by in the aisles at Target or whatever store you shop at, and I saw your No Cure shirt, I'd be like, nice shirt, man. But,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's your
Oh, I
shirt as
like your
well.
shirt too. Yeah, you're sick.
Thank you. And then it's endless friendship from there.
Yeah, and I think that's like that's what and I wanted to just kind of highlight your point about being like showing camaraderie because I think there is really that like level of love that you feel with other people, especially in this type of music. So, obviously best wishes, best luck to Mirrorcell. I'm going to be keeping an eye out because I think you guys absolutely rip. So, please Nate, tell them where they can find Mirror Sell Out, what you have coming up next. This is your time to plug. Tell them the
Time to
people what's
plug.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we're on all streaming platforms like most bands these days. We if you want to look us up, it's just Mirror Cell, one word. We have a lot of really interesting stuff. Really, I think cool stuff planned for the future. Maybe a music video.
Oh,
So
oh.
it'll kind of encompass what we're going for, tie our vision together. I feel like once the rest of our songs are out, people will understand what we're about and what we're trying to do. So I think people can look forward to a song very soon. Don't want to give out too much information, but if you didn't think the first two were heavy enough, then this one might be it. Um, but yeah, we got a lot of really cool stuff planned. And yeah, it's if you like what you hear, I mean, feel free to share our stuff, reach out to us. We're trying to get off the ground here with this project, and I hope that people like it.
I'm hoping for some Mirror Cell merch so I can be the first person to be wearing a Mirror Cell shirt.
Yeah,
So,
I'll send you one.
oh, thank you. I appreciate it, Nate. I will have to send you a shirt from Audio Addiction as well too. So, we'll
Sick.
do a merch swap. But
Right on.
seriously, if you have not checked out Mirrorcell and you sat through this a little over an hour interview and you didn't think Nate was the sweetest human being on the face of the earth, I swear you come see me at a show because I'm gonna tell you you're wrong. Yeah, please go check out Mirrorcell. They're fucking awesome. They have they have two tracks out now and a new one coming. Bleach, Zombie are out now, and the TBA to be determined new song coming out soon ish. I don't know. Nate didn't tell me
Very
anything,
soon.
so very soon apparently. So go check it out. Big salutes to my homie Ben. I love that dude. Big love to that guy. If you enjoyed this interview, share, like, and subscribe. I am like I just checked my sub count. I'm very close to 3K. So if you can help me get over to 3K, I will probably cry. So if you want to see a
Get
grown
him to
ass,
3K,
if you
or
want
we're
to
gonna
see a
show up
grown
at your
ass
house
man
and
cry,
beat him out.
if you want to see a grown ass man cry, then you do that. But if not, that's fine too. But please, if you'd like the content, it'd be great. As well as that, again, go check out Mirrorcell. They're awesome. And huge thanks to Nate for coming on and spending time with me.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.